So you want to play a dark arts build and be an evil witch or wizard. I have the build for you. This will allow you to one-shot everything in the game and clear a room instantly, healing yourself to full. Welcome back, gang. It's Deltia from Deltiasgaming.com. This seems to be a very popular build and one of the most clicked things on my website, so I'm going to give you detailed examples of what and how to use this. Keep in mind, this build is meant for mid to end game players around level 25 or higher. Specifically, a Avada Kedavra can be obtained at level 28 or higher, so it's going to take you a long time to get there, but in the process we have some really important talents and spells that will actually make you powerful very early on. So if you're looking to become a dark wizard, this is the build for you. Make sure to check the link in the description below, where I have a little bit more detailed written up post on my website with talents from level 5 all the way to 40. And if you got something out of this, hit that like and subscribe. Let's get started. So in Hogwarts Legacy, builds follow a general formula to get powerful. Spells, consumables, which include potions and plants, armor traits, and talents. We're going to go over the talents and the spells and how to use them in conjunction with each other. Talents are earned at level 5 all the way up to level 40, and you have to complete a quest called Jackdaw's Rest. After that, you will be able to spend your talent points, again, 5 all the way to 40, and they are permanent choices on your character, so you're going to want to use caution when you make this. Also, something to keep in mind about Hogwarts Legacy, it does not have a morality system, so you can use the 3 Unforgiveable Curses whenever you want and not be punished in the in-game story. There are some story choices early and later in the game that may influence your ending, but just know, using these spells is not one of them. So how do you unlock the Unforgivable Curses? I have videos on 2 of them and written links in the description below on 3 of them. The first is going to be Crucio. This is in the shadow of the study, is going to be completing and unlocking this spell for you. There's an important decision to make in the dialogue that you have to do in order to get this, so check the link in the walkthrough. Imperio Curse is at level 17, and it's in the Shadow of Time. There's also a dialogue option that you have to select, so it's very important. And then Avada Kedavra, the Unforgivable Curse that one-shots anything, is at level 28, so very, very late in the game, and the quest is in the Shadow of the Relic that you need to complete, and you guessed it, there's a dialogue option that you're going to have to check. So as you can see, late game build, but you can do some things early on, and let's start with the talents. So the important talents to take in Hogwarts Legacy, there's actually one at level 5 that's very important. That's called the Disarming Curse talent. This gives Expelliarmus the exact same effect as curses on enemies, and cursed enemies take increased damage. This is fantastic because it's an early game skill that you can curse things, and then later on there's another perk called Curse Sapper at level 22. When you combine Expelliarmus, which applies essentially a curse, and you defeat a cursed target, you're going to restore health. So you can get this, and at level 22, this little beginner skill becomes absolutely god tier because it heals you for an absolute massive amount. Also, Curse Sapper is the entire bread and butter behind this build because you can combine it with Avada Kedavra and other curses. And if you have a multiple room full of cursed targets and enemies, you hit them with Avada Kedavra, it kills one, it deals damage to all of them, boom, they're dead. Entire room gone, heal to full. And the way it does that is the level 22 talent Avada Kedavra Mastery. Killing an enemy with Avada Kedavra kills all cursed enemies. So you can see the combo. Curse Sapper plus Avada Kedavra Mastery. Curse as many targets as possible using Expelliarmus, Imperio, and Crucio. Hit one target, wipe the room, heal to full. But that's not it. You can also take the Crucio Mastery talent. Striking an enemy with Crucio releases a projectile that curses a nearby enemy, allowing you to curse and blow up multiple targets. Imperio Mastery, enemies under your Imperial Curse also curse other targets. So you can see Crucio and Imperio are doing a lot of work for you, just basically AoE, cursing other targets. Perfect for Avada Kedavra nuke. And then also another really good one is Slowing Curse. Arresto Momentum has the same effect as curse on enemies. Cursed enemies take increased damage. So Expelliarmus in this one here also are very, very useful. And to be honest with you, you could take every single talent in the Dark Arts tree and do fantastic. The link on my website has level 5 all the way up to 40 talents if you want more information on that. So here's the spell combinations that you need to know. Expelliarmus, early game spell. It's very strong due to the Disarming Curse. You can actually pair it with the Core Ancient Magic talent at level 5. and then the Ancient Magic throw will actually disarm them and use their weapon to chuck it right back at them. It's also going to be cursed, so if you had the level 22 talent, you're going to be getting a lot of healing. So Expelliarmus is going to be one of the core skills you're going to use in combination with a lot of other skills, and it does increase damage. Not significantly, but it's still good. Crucio, we talked about this. Basically an endgame skill that does good damage over time. Imperial is one of the best control spells in the game, making monsters fight each other, and Avada Kedavra. Some other spells and loadouts and things you should use until you get to endgame. One that I really like is Leviosa with either Confringo or Bombarda. Leviosa is going to allow you to basically lift up and deal damage to mobs, and it's also going to be a great control mechanism when you get overwhelmed. So you can lift them up, and if you have Bombarda, you can knock them back off ledges, off cliffs. It's fantastic. Another strong spell loadout until you get these later endgame spells is Glacius and Defendo. This combination will produce some of the hardest hitting damage in the game outside of the Unforgivable Curses. So you can use those, save on your talents so you get the other skills later on, and then spec into the Dark Arts as you start unlocking the spells and the talents, and then switch over to a full Dark Arts build later on. And so now you can understand the combat and the rotation of what you're going to do. Typically, you're going to have 4 skills on your bar. All of them should be producing curses. So with a typical loadout, you could go with Expelliarmus, Crucio, and Imperial, or a flex skill like Arresto Momentum if you're spec'd into that talent. Now you're going to apply as many curses as possible and then hit Avada Kedavra to absolutely melt the entire room. Keep in mind, this is going to have a very long cooldown, so you're going to have to pop a focus potion to speed things up and get to more spells more frequently. So then you can cycle between Glacius and Defendo, or Leviosa and Bombardia, or something else that you have in your kit until those spells come off cooldown, and then curse everything in the room. Boom, hit him with the nuke, everything's dead, heal to full. Rinse and repeat. All right, now that you got that, let's talk about armor traits to look for and put on your body. Armor traits are unlocked after the Elf and the Knapsack in the Loom main quest. You're going to unlock a Loom in your Room of Requirement, and then you can basically apply traits that you've gotten. You can get traits either through the main story, and a lot of them come through exploration, specifically bandit camps. There's a little cheesy strategy that you can use with bandit camps. You can clear out all the enemies and the mobs. You're going to go to one specific chest at the end of the bandit camp. You're going to hit your save button right before you loot the thing. Then you go and loot the thing. In the top right corner, you're going to see the trait that you actually unlocked, and then you could just simply hit load over and over and over for the desired trait if you didn't get it. Kind of cheesy, but it does work. Another important thing to note about armor traits is traits are multiplicative, meaning they get stronger the more you equip on your body. So if you have 6 slots and you equip all the same trait, it's going to be exponentially better than just doing one. It's not diminishing returns, it's the exact opposite. However, with the Dark Arts build, you might not need 6 on one because your Avada Kedavra or something else might hit so dang hard, you're not going to need it. So think about a 3-3 setup, 3 and 3 different traits if you have access to them versus a straight up 6 armor trait setup. So here's the armor traits I'd highly recommend in order. Unforgivable 3, significantly increases damage to cursed targets. This is the best option since the entire build premise focuses on cursing targets. Even if you don't have Avada Kedavra up, still your curses are going to be pretty strong. Cruelty number 3, significantly increases damage with Crucio. This is a good alternative you want to focus on an early game spell rather than waiting for Avada Kedavra. And then number 3, manipulation. Imperial targets does significantly increase damage. So it's a good alternative if you're using Imperial frequently. Also, concentration is a very good trait until you get some of these later game Unforgivable Curses because it's going to increase damage for all spells that you use. I would swap them in and out depending on your resources, and don't be afraid to try and experiment to see what works best for you. But we're not done with the build yet. We need to talk about consumables and or tools, potions, and plants. Potions and plants are absolutely extraordinarily strong early on in the game. In fact, I have a quote-unquote cabbage build that's probably one of the strongest outside of this build. Early on in the game, you can take one perk, chuck a bunch of cabbages, and basically kill and destroy everything. More on that later. So you can use cabbages early on until you get a little bit more powerful. But the 3 I highly recommend for this build if you want to focus on the Dark Arts is Focus Potion. This is going to reduce the cooldown on your spells, allowing you to use those super long cooldowns like a Avada Kedavra a lot more frequently. This really helps you get back that skill. The Maxima Potion. This is going to increase your spell damage. Not that you need more as a Dark Wizard, but just in case you want to hit even harder to impress your friends. And then lastly, Invisibility Potion. This is nice because it basically makes you totally invisible and completely resets the fight. So there's no stealth detection. You just basically shut it down. The mob's like, where did they go? And then you can basically curse people while you're invisible, get that cooldown up on Avada Kedavra, hit it, and then nuke down an entire room. Well, gang, that's a quick video on the Dark Arts build that a lot of people are playing and enjoying. There's a gazillion links in the description below for how to get the walkthroughs and how to complete these quests and where to go to get these spells. Also, a build link in the description below. Hit that subscribe and like if you got something out of this video. And make sure to come watch me live on twitch.tv/Deltiasgaming, where my mom claims I'm the best streamer alive. Thanks for watching.